morning. So one of the reasons we're able to do what we do here at convention is because of sponsors. And in your convention book, you'll find a whole list of sponsors for various different seminars and just the convention in general. But very happy to have with us this morning our sponsor for our keynote speaker. Our sponsor is West Media Group. They're out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania. They do advertising, marketing, and event promotion. And I'm very happy to introduce Ray Spiker, who is an account executive with West Media Group. And I know he has AJ and Michael with him, but Ray, would you like to come to the microphone?
You know, this is supposed to be business, but I'm here for the fun. I love working with fair committees, and we just had a blast, and this is my first convention, so I'm really excited to be here. I've never been to a Disney cover band before. That was awesome. My two colleagues setting up the booth, AJ and Michael, they were here last year. They had so much fun, and I was really jealous. So they'll be around. We're at booth 702. Our company does marketing for events. We've had just a great success working with fairs. And my privilege today is to introduce Marla Calico, the International President and CEO of the International Fairs and Association of Fairs and Expositions. And before she comes up, I just want to acknowledge the people that have been really good to us as we've been getting involved with fairs and festivals. And I want to acknowledge Harry Rector was the first guy that really encouraged us to get involved. Debbie Stevenson has been an amazing good friend to us. I love the Butler Farm Show, and Sandy Lefevre and Ken Metrick and Ken Laughlin. Dave Berkey, Somerset. I'm a Berkey. Spiker is married to Berkeley. I want to meet you before the day's over, and I thank Lacey Murray. And I just want to say, our business is about making organizations future ready for their marketing. One of those dangerous things is we've always done it that way. Well, tried and true isn't tried and true anymore all the time about marketing. So we look at the mix. We're very well steeped in traditional marketing. I work with anybody. I'm the oldest guy in the company. Most of the kids are under 30. They know everything except about business and about fairs and about how to promote, but they can do everything else. So please stop by and see us. Give a great hand to this amazing lady. I saw Marla over there hip-hopping, and I wanted to dance with her. Welcome, Marla Calico, and please visit us at booth 702.
Thank you, Ray. Really appreciate your sponsorship. Marla Calico is the President and CEO of the International Association of Fairs and Expositions, the IAFE as we know it, which is headquartered in Springfield, Missouri. The association represents and facilitates the evolving interests of its 1,000 members, which are agricultural fairs, exhibitions, and shows from around the globe. Her role as President and CEO came after 9.5 years on the staff of the association. When she joined the IAFE's professional staff in 2006, her primary projects included the launch of the IAFE's Institute of Fair Management, which is a training program which provides an introduction to the core areas of fair management to fair staff, board members, and volunteers, and to deliver the association's award-winning consumer protection program, Risk Management for E. coli, to the fairs industry globally. Prior to joining the IAFE staff, Marla had a long career in the fair sector, working for nearly 30 years at the Ozark Empire Fair in Springfield, Missouri. The latter decade of which she was the general manager. During that time, she also served as the chair of the board of directors of the IAFE. Marla is a frequent speaker for the fair industry, gatherings, presenting motivational keynote addresses, as well as seminars on a wide range of topics of key importance to fairs today. In 2012, Marla was inducted into the IAFE's Hall of Fame, the highest honor awarded by the association. A lifelong resident of the Ozarks, Marla graduated with a BS in agribusiness from Missouri State University. But here's all you really need to know about Marla. Marla is passionate about agricultural affairs and the people who can make them happen. She's often referred to as the fair chick. Her role as the president and CEO of the International Association of Fairs and Expositions is a culmination of a life spent involved with fairs as an exhibitor, a visitor, volunteer, employee, and manager. When I asked Marla to come speak to us here this year, little did I know at that time, but found out soon thereafter, some bittersweet news. Marla will be retiring at the end of this year from the IAFE. We all know Marla, we know we're going to miss her, but you know what? 12/31/2024 is a little whiles way off. We're going to give her a big, warm Pennsylvania welcome to Marla Calico here today to deliver our keynote speech.
Thank you very much. I tell you what, it is super to be here with you. I think it's probably been maybe 7 years since I was here. Reminiscing last night with Bev, I think I came here probably sometime in the late 1990s, early 2000. I did the suitcase show. I brought this giant suitcase to talk about competitive exhibits. So it's great to be back and to see so many familiar faces and to take time to share a few things with you today, right? And I think it's going to fit very well. I'm so grateful to Ray and the West Media for sponsoring me today. So give me just a second here to make sure I'm all squared away and ready to go. You know what? And some of you can't see these things, so I apologize for that. But one of the greatest things about our business, about our industry, is our history. You know, I was able to find some archival photos, and we had sideshows, and we had a Ferris wheel. Think about how long a Ferris wheel's been going on, and we've had great livestock shows. Agriculture is at the heart of what we do. But you know what? Sometimes that history can be the worst thing about our industry. The rides, are they changing? Yes. But do you know how long it takes your ride operator to get a new ride and how much it costs? Sometimes we're just still chained. I still see some premium lists and some list of competitions that the things we've been having for 150 years. Have we changed? Do you have a class for diamond dart these days, right? Are you doing new things? And I tell you what, I grew up on a farm, I grew up around pigs, but if I go to a pig show today, I have no idea what they're talking about, right? Neither do the rest of the people around the show ring. Sometimes we let ourselves be chained to our past. I think this little cell, this horrible disease, changed everything for us, didn't it? Think about the long-term impacts to all of us because of COVID. And that leads me today to ask you, are you ready for the future? Now this is how my nephew would send a text to me, right? But what I mean is, for those of you that don't read text, is are you ready for the future? And that's what we want to talk about today. Are you ready for the future? Unless your goal is to go backwards, that rear view mirror doesn't really always serve us the greatest purpose, right? But it does have a purpose for us. It gives us a chance to reflect upon our history, upon our past, about the foundations that have made us so strong. It gives us a chance to think about what you've learned, right? Some of those mistakes we make, we'll never make them again. And we all know that to understand where we're going, we have to understand where we have been. Whoops, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So I want to talk just briefly about our industry's rear view mirror, because I think we can learn some things about it. None of us want to relive 2020, 2021, and the impact of COVID, but I think there are a few things that we can take away as we think about getting ready for the future. We all know that in our industry, 90% of all of our fairs were canceled. But do you know what? They survived. You survived. We survived. We came back stronger than ever. Since 2021, since we've been back in business, records have been shattered all across the globe. But there are still impacts. Hundreds of full-time jobs were lost. Service providers went out of business. They're no longer, and you know, some of the entertainers, it's hard to find them because they had to go get real jobs, right? That pays the bills, and they're not coming back. They're not coming back. So how did you survive? And I know here within your state, your fairs, you did a variety of things. I actually had a chance to come through in 2020. I visited a couple of fairs that were doing livestock shows. They had some food things going on. But think about all of the ways that everyone in our business managed to survive. We knew that people love fair food, so they did food drive-thrus. We had fairgrounds that were turned into drive-in movies or drive-in concerts. We had drive-in farmers markets so that we could help our communities. I know one fairgrounds in Wisconsin, they had basically in their small community the only space large enough to do funerals, weddings, and civic clubs all in one day. Rusty set up the hall and he said, you can come, but this is the way it's set up, we're not changing it. So we had the funeral in the morning, we had the Rotary at lunch, and they had a wedding at night. Right? That's how we roll. We bob and weave and we change with what we need to do. Fairs became polling locations, they were courtrooms, they did COVID testing, then they did get vaccination. Any number of things that they did to survive. But nothing changes the fact that we want to be together. Live events are what brings us together and holds us together. So there was a huge pent-up demand in what we did, and that's what helped our industry to rebound. But we still have challenges in every corner. It costs more to do what we do, right? Think about the guest safety measures. In 2021, I went to a fair in Nebraska. They couldn't even find security. Not what they could pay, but they couldn't even find them. There was nobody to work security jobs. The fact that we're having to increase our security because it seems like some of our teenagers are just full of volatility and unrest. It's hard to find labor, whether it's volunteer or paid. Minimum wages are going up. It's hard for your carnivals. It's hard for you, isn't it, to find the help that you need. It's hard for our vendors to find what they need. And we still have that nasty word of supply chain issues. I was talking to a ride owner, a carnival owner just last week. You know, place an order and you get it in what, 26, if you're lucky? Those things are really a challenge to our industry. They truly are. And so even though we've had these somewhat record years and great return to success, we still have a huge cloud of uncertainty and volatility because it seems like we're in this constant cycle. We have to adapt, change, repeat. Adapt, change, repeat. And sometimes we're not, as an industry, very good at doing that because we have to do it quickly. Something else that sometimes our tradition holds us back, for sure. Well, there's actually a name for this. We are in a period of VUCA. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And the Army War College in the 1990s actually described this of what we were going through in the Cold War. Things are just totally uncertain. And in the time that they have coined that term VUCA, there have only been a couple of instances of it in our world. But you know what? I think today we're on VUCA on steroids. Everything is going crazy, right? We had the pandemic and we're still feeling the ramifications of that. It seems like our society, political and society divisiveness, families fighting with each other because we can't agree. Our geopolitical situation is so unstable right now that gives us all such concern, right? And every single person is impacted. Well, I want to tell you, you're not alone. You are not alone if you have felt that. I know myself, there are times, particularly in 2020 and 21, you just felt hopeless and helpless. You didn't know what to do. And I think sometimes we still feel that because of the tremendous amount of volatility that's going on. And that uncertainty, to be honest, has left us depleted. There's a guy by the name of Dr. David Rock. He's from the Neurological Institute, and he wrote a book called Your Brain at Work, How to Work Smarter. And here's what he says. The brain craves certainty, as much as it craves food and water. It means our brain can't function when we are uncertain. And so, we feel threatened. We're in a disruptive state. Your cognitive function suffers. Do you know what that means? You can't think straight. When you are filled with uncertainty, you can't think straight. You lose your ability to focus. Now, I feel better knowing the science that I'm not crazy, right? There's science to back this up, right? But the task for us all ahead is how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the fact that we know we are dealing in this very volatile, ambiguous time full of uncertainty? Well, it demands that we be flexible and agile. Flexible and agile. COVID was good for us. I don't know about all of you in the room, but I know some of you. COVID was an excuse for you to change things. You were forced to do things differently, right? And so maybe it was something you'd been wanting to do for the longest time, but oh my gosh, everybody in the community wouldn't like it if you moved the demo dirty from Thursday night to Friday night. Oh, some of you know that. But COVID gave us an excuse to change things, right? And here's what we all realized. The sooner that we accepted the fact that we couldn't control the pandemic, the sooner we were able to change our focus and change our attitude, right? A dear friend of mine, as many of you know her, Marlene Jolla from State Fair of Virginia, an IFE past chair in Hall of Fame. I remember her telling me one day, Marla, we have to focus on what we can do, not the cannot. Focus on what we can do. That held true in 2020 and it holds true today. We have to lean into change. Change is not a four-letter word. Change is inevitable. And to be successful, we have to change our attitude, and we have to be willing to do things differently than we have. Remember, sometimes we're hidebound by those traditions. We have to take bigger risks. We have to try out new ideas. And here's the thing. We have to do it with speed and agility. Guys, we're not known for that. I hear some giggles. You know what I'm talking about. The fair industry, we're not quite known for our agility to make decisions quickly and to change sometimes in mid-course over what we have to do. So we cannot wait. We have to be proactive. We have to make things happen quickly and with great flexibility. I was reminded today as we were doing some last-minute setup changes. Years ago, when I was manager at the fair, I had this banquet. A group of people were using, we were going to have about 1,500 people for a banquet at our facility. And the guy that was in charge was this old Southern Baptist preacher. And I kept asking him, come on, you know, what do we need to do to get set up? Where do you want the stage? How do you want the sound? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And by the time we got, you know, to the show, he had changed it about 5 times. And here I am at the last minute. I don't even have any help, and he wants to do a whole different room set. And I was getting so frustrated. And he goes, Marla, you just got to remember, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. Right? I thought about that this morning. So we have to be flexible. We have to just try things. Sometimes we can't even wait to test them. And we have to ask smart questions. Not only do we have to ask why have we always done it this way, but why not? Why not change and do something differently? So there is a reason that our windshield is so much bigger than our rearview mirror. That windshield is taking us into the future. It shows us not only what is right in front of us, but what we can aspire to, what we can reach for. That's our future, and that is where we need to be focused. During the pandemic, we were blessed to have a connection to the son of the famous Zig Ziglar, the speaker. His son Tom Ziglar is a speaker and author in his own right. And we had a connection that allowed Tom to do a webinar for all of our membership, complimentary, to come in late August of 2020 to help give us some words as we were all grieving the loss of our fairs and trying to figure out what we were going to do. And Tom Ziglar says this: the way you see your future determines your thinking today. And your thinking today determines your performance today. And your performance today has the ultimate strong bearing on what your future is going to be. So when you choose how you see your future, you take that first step to create it, to make it happen. So, I don't often try to weave in tactics when I'm doing a keynote, but I wanted to just talk about 5 areas where I think we need to be ready for the future. And Ray and West Media, thank you so much, because the first one is ticketing, right? And talking about online ticketing, and Ray and I were talking prior to the session about how selling online tickets, you can capture data, you can understand your audience, you can reach out to them on a more frequent basis. And data just gives that ability with data to do upselling, to sell more. Oh, you're coming to the fair, why don't we give you a 50% discount on a corn dog or on a ride? It gives you a chance to interact with your guests. And in marketing, social media, oh my gosh, Ray was talking about geofencing. Thank God you've got those young kids helping you, right? Whew, that's kind of beyond my terminology. And if it is beyond your terminology, find some youngsters, young people to help you. Because social media and being able to utilize those tools are where it's at. The newest one, this like scared me to death when I figured out about it. Somebody started talking about AI, and I'm thinking, I grew up on a farm, and AI, I'm not sure why AI is such a, but generative artificial intelligence, and if any of you upgraded your operating system of your iPhone within the last month, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It does so much more for me than what I thought it was ever going to do. It's so predictive in the way I talk, it could write a whole text message for me, right? Generative AI, when I first heard about it, it scared the living daylights out of me, but we need to embrace it. It is our future, and it is a tool, and we need to find people that can help us with that. And then when we think about our programming, we need to think about doing things differently, right? Again, if you need to move the demo dirty from Thursday to Friday, it's okay. Just use those kids with social media to help you make it happen and get the word out, right? Think about events within events. I talked about my friend Marlene Jolliffe at State Fair, Virginia. The last time I was there 2 years ago, on the last Sunday, they threw up this tent. They were having a beer festival, all of the microbrewers in the region. So you paid your admission to the fair. Then you paid for a $30 ticket to get your sampler mug, and you could go into this private tent and sample beer. An event within an event. And I know there's some great Pennsylvania wines around, and so maybe you could do a wine tasting festival, right? A VIP experience. We all want to be treated like VIPs. Hi Marla, thanks for coming. I'm so glad you're here, you know? We want that upgrade. Oh, it's so wonderful to see you again. Would you like to be moved to first class? Traveling has its benefits. But we need to treat our guests with VIP experiences. People will pay for a VIP experience. Ties with our local agriculture. We are at our heart. Every single one of you, you're an agriculture society, agricultural organization. Are you helping to promote your local ag? Think about layout changes. My carnival folks are right here, aren't you, right? So I remember one time when I was fair manager, my carnival lot guy, he was the most enthusiastic lot guy I've ever known in my life. He said, Marla, if you just move your Ferris wheel We would do much better. I said, no, we're not, because it's right by the interstate. He goes, it's right by the interstate. People are driving 70 miles an hour. They don't have time to look. If you would just move it this way, they could see it from Lowe's parking lot. Do you know that you have the #1 Lowe's and the #1 Walmart Supercenter in the entire United States? Think about all those people that are going to see your Ferris wheel. So think about layout changes and making differences. I just did a session with New York that if money were no object and time were no object and you had to start all over again, what would your fairgrounds look like? What would that layout be? But you can imagine small changes. Think about relationships. We all learned very quickly that if we didn't have a good relationship with our health department, we were sunk, right? So we need to think not only beyond the health department, but working with our Carnival Midway operators to understand the challenges that they're facing, working with our concessionaires and vendors to understand what's going. And if there were ever a time to talk with legislators, now's the time. Now's the time. We need to make sure that those relationships are strong, even within our board itself. We need to make sure that we're all on the same page. And then finally, pricing. I thought it was interesting. South Florida Fair is going on right now, and I looked at their pricing strategy on one of their social media posts. And you can pay one price if you're there Monday through Thursday, but if you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you pay a much higher price, right? Because that's when everybody wants to come to the fair. So think about changing pricing, peak periods, and many fairs during COVID afterwards said goodbye to discount days. And they're not doing it anymore because people will pay for an experience. So it's time, as we in the business, it's time for us to focus on metrics that matter. I don't know about you, but across the country, I've heard so many fair persons, fair board members, fair managers, like their community was up in arms when you had to cancel the fair, right? Because they think you've got 3 weeks. You can put it together. Okay, we know that doesn't happen, but have we told our community what it takes to make the fair happen? The amount of time, the volunteer hours just from your board alone that you put in it to make it. We need to be telling our community about what we do, why we do it, and how we do it. Clear numbers, graphics, impact statements. We need to talk about our impact on the community. If your fair did not exist, what would happen in your community? In my community, at my fair, if my fair did not exist, I know that kids would not have new shoes because of the Kiwanis Club that I paid to sell tickets at the gate. I know that kids would not have glasses because of the Lions Club that I paid to sell tickets. I know that the cross-country high school team at the poorest high school in Springfield wouldn't have uniforms, but I paid for them to park. And think about the operations, whether they're, selling food or beer at your fair. Those community groups need you and we need them. So tell the community about that. We need to talk about how much money and how much human capital it takes to put a fair on, right? And now is that time. We have to communicate, and we cannot over-communicate, because that communication will help us make sure our values and our focus is aligned. Now's the time for us as a fair board and all of your volunteers to come together and think about our values, about what we believe. Talk about the things that are important to you. Integrity, respect, commitment to our core focus and purpose of ag, high ethical standards, diversity of our thought and representing our community, and our innovation and passion. We have to, as a fair board, as a group, as a staff of volunteers, come together and focus on exactly what is important to us. Now's the time to rally everyone together. One of the things that we found during COVID is, regardless of your role with your fair, or even in the greater community, each and every one of us in this room, and your presence here says it, you're a leader. You're a leader. And being a leader in difficult times is very, very challenging. People are always watching you. They've always got their eye on you, right? They're expecting you to perform when they themselves cannot perform. They expect you to have answers when you don't have them yourself. I think I can speak for you as well as me. Especially during COVID. You know, there's a lot of time you're just filled with self-doubt. Can I do it? You know? Thank goodness for the Little Mermaid, so I had a little bit of energy to get up on stage today because I'm like going, I don't know if I can deliver to these people or not. It's early in the morning. Thank goodness we had a jolt, right? So sometimes even getting on stage, it's just like I'm filled with self-doubt. Can I really do it? Can I deliver it? And as a leader at your fair and in your community, you have stepped up time and time again. When duty calls, you're always there. I think we need to reflect on the fact that we are all, each and every one of us, stronger than we give ourselves credit for. During the time of COVID, there was a friend of mine who knew that I was struggling really quite a bit, trying to figure out what to do. And this friend sent me the lyrics to a song, and those of you that follow country music might know who Brantley Gilbert is. I didn't, but I thought his lyrics were dandy. There's a line in the chorus that says something along the lines, if you've never had any hard days, if you've never felt heartbreak, if you've never carried the weight of the world on your shoulders, then you will have never known your strength. And you will have never known how to live your life with purpose. And every single one of us in this room, there have been times when we feel like we've had the weight of the world on our shoulders, right? But if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't have the strength to go on. And the way Tom Ziegler says it is, we have to celebrate each and every victory, no matter how small. We did that, and we did it today. So I challenge you to think about every time that you've gone through more than you thought you could, you survived it, and you went on to another day. Don't ever underestimate your own courage to overcome the fears that you have. Never underestimate that. And sometimes it just takes very small steps for us to gain a sense of purpose. Back in my younger days, I used to be a runner. Not quite now. I want to get back to that. But I was running a race one time, and I was really kind of struggling. It was cold, it was windy, and as I turned the next to the last corner to head to the finish line, there was this spry of a woman. She's the best known runner in our entire community. There was Rosie. And she was saying, go Marla, go Marla. You can do anything for 2 more minutes. That's it, 2 more minutes and you're at the finish line. You can do it. And I can't tell you how many times that line, you can do anything for 2 more minutes, has given me the strength to take that next step to deal with something, right? We just can't let that fear of the unknown take hold of us. So I want to ask you to take care of yourself. If you fly, you see this little image all of the time, right? If you fly, in the case of cabin pressure loss, a mask will drop down in front of you, so please pull the mask forward, put it on your head, and take care of your own mask before helping others. Put your own mask on, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't be good for anybody else, right? We have to manage our energy, our attitude, and then that will flow to everyone that is around us. And you know, each and every one of us, we have different strategies, we have different tactics. Some people may open up their Bible and refer that way. Some may take a corner and meditate, or do yoga, listen to your favorite movie, music. It doesn't matter, but find something that works for you so that you can gain your sense of energy, attitude, and strength, knowing that you can overcome. During COVID, I became acquainted with an artist, or an author by the name of Anne Lamott. And she's got a great TED Talk. She's talking about 10 things that make life better. But her one that she says is, everything will work again if you unplug it. No, your computer's acting up. I'm jerking you out of the wall. Unplugging it. But it's true. If we take time, if we take a step away, everything will work in if we just unplug it. So the key is finding your way to unplug so that you can become stronger and you can be the leader that I know you are. General Colin Powell, I watched him as I grew up as a teenager. He was a career soldier, chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the first African-American Secretary of State in our U.S. history, died a few years ago. And during that time, as people were celebrating General Powell, they kept mentioning about General Colin Powell's 13 rules, and there actually are 13 rules. But I chose 5 of them that are my favorites. From the words of a great man, it can be done. It can be done. May not be pretty, may take us longer, but it can be done. We're going to find a way to make it happen. And when we do, let's share the credit. It's not I, it's not me, it's we. We do this, and we do this together, particularly in our fair board. We do this great thing together. The third one I put up there because it's for me. Remain calm. Sometimes it's hard to remain calm. But the remain kind, I travel a lot. And let me tell you, there are some crazy kooks out there that will just fly off. It's insane. And the difference, I've witnessed it, the difference when you walk up and say, man, that was a bad one. Now, can you help me get to Syracuse, New York? And you smile. You can be kind. Ask how their day is going before you even ask them for something, right? How are you doing today? We all can remain kind. And I tell you, in our world today, kindness, more than anything else, is what we need. And we need to have a vision. Again, clean off that windshield. Look toward the future. Have a vision of what your fair can be for your community. And finally, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Take your fair board. You have 13 members. 10 of them are optimists, and 3 are not. You got a majority right there. Let's keep it going, right? Optimism, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. Well, just want to wrap up with a couple of things. Here are 2 things I know about every single person in the room. First, you're passionate. You are passionate about your fair. You are passionate about Pennsylvania fairs. Your presence here is that. That shows up in every single thing that you do. The other thing I know about you is perseverance. You will not give up. It can be done. If there's a rock in your way, you're either going to blast it to smithereens, carve a new path around, dig under it, or crawl over it. Because you will not give up. No matter how long it takes, you will not give up. As we go forward into the future, I think it's imperative that we realize and accept that our world has changed. That's a given, okay? And some of our old ways of doing business have changed and still need to change. But I believe that by working with each other at the local level within our fair board, here within the state, within our regions or zones, and as a state, and believe me, and when I speak globally for all of the fairs in our world, when we will work together, we can make it happen. We can challenge each other with new ideas to take those bigger risks. When we come together in a meeting like this, you're meeting someone new and you're learning a new idea and you're saying, hey, that can work for me, right? I know that we can make it happen, but we gotta be fast, we gotta be agile, and we gotta be flexible. So we need to change our mindset so that we can do that. And I just believe, because I know you, we love this industry. We love our fairs. We love the fact that we're family, right? We're family. So I believe that when we come together with that common goal, that common passion, and that common perseverance, that we will continue to grow strong, and we will grow stronger than we ever could on our own. Thank you all very much. It's wonderful to be with you today.
enthusiasm, ideas, took some notes. Again, thank you, West Media Group, Ray, for sponsoring, and
My friend AJ.
AJ, thank you, thank you. Just a couple announcements. The Saturday Night Queen coronation will be live streamed again, so let people know that. Also, the PASCF, we have a hospitality room, and it is 5806, if you'd like to visit that. Also, the most important thing is the trade show room, which is in the Great American Hall down through around. It will be open today from 10:30 to 4, today and tomorrow, and Saturday from 9 to noon. We have over 125 booths, acts, attraction vendors in there that you can go and talk to. Also, don't forget to stop in for your complimentary coffee that they have there. And don't forget the sticker game. You could be the person who gets to go to Hershey or gets one of our awesome, I keep hoping each year that mine gets strong. So do that. What do you get when you cross a chili pepper, a shovel, and a terrier? A hot diggity dog. And I want you all to have a hot diggity time attending your seminars, your table topics, getting the information that we are supplying you at your convention. Remember, you only get out of the convention what you are willing to put in. Spend time with other fair people. You may be surprised what you can learn from another fair. And one big thing, have fun and enjoy each other. That's the important thing. And what you do today and the next couple days here can improve all your tomorrows and can improve all your fairs. So that concludes our opening ceremony. So go, enjoy, and have fun.